Go ahead and jump to your resource pack directory, and let's go ahead and open up the 15th step, which is called random token replacement function. Go ahead and copy all of the code and paste the code in your test.php file and save it. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to the top. Now this code is a pretty significant rewrite to our original example. Now oftentimes the first step in generalizing a piece of code is taking the parts that are specific to our situation out into some kind of data structure, usually an array. So if we look at the code from our last step, the 14th step called peach code as a function, and we scroll down to the function, the parts that are specific to our situation are the adjective array, the actual options for adjectives, the options for adverbs, the options for punctuation, and then this sentence structure here, which is this peaches adverb adjective punctuation. These are all specific to our situation. So as a first step, I'm going to jump back to our code here. We're going to pull out that data into variables. So here's the idea of this new generalized function. And we can sort of infer what the functionality will be, or the code that we need, by the data that we're working with here. So first we're going to start with a string. And within that string, we're going to add placeholders that will be replaced by some random text. Now in this case, we're duplicating the functionality of the peach example. So we're saying this peach is, and then for a placeholder, we're using the word adverb in all capital letters. We have a space, and then we have adjective and then punctuation, two other placeholders. And then we have an array of replacements. And in this array, we're first defining the placeholder that we're going to replace with something. And then the value of this is another array. So we're dealing with a multidimensional array here. And this array here is a simple array of the options that might replace this placeholder. And for this particular string, since we have 3 placeholders, we have one item in this array for each of the placeholders, along with the options for replacing it. So now if you're feeling particularly spunky, you could stop this video and figure out the code that's needed in order to replace these placeholders with one of these random items that matches up with the placeholder. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you how we're doing it in this file. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here where we're actually printing out the result. We're using the function replace tokens with randomness, and we're passing it 2 variables, string, which is this value here, and then replacements, which is this array here. Now let's go ahead and make sure that this is saved and check it out in the browser. I'm going to go ahead and jump to it and refresh, and we see this peach is not good. If I refresh again, it says this peach is not bad. And every time I refresh, we'll get another random bit of text, just like we did in our previous examples. I'm going to jump back to the editor here. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the function that's responsible for these replacements. So we have this function, replace token with randomness. It takes 2 parameters, string and replacements. That's what we passed it here. And so what's going to happen is that it's going to run through a loop of the replacements. It's going to pull out the key, which is the token, and give it the name of token variable, and the value, which is an array of replacements, and it's going to assign that to the variable replacement array. And next we're going to pull a random item out from the replacement array. So the way we're doing that, just like we did in our previous peach example, is we're flipping the index and the value of the array first, and that will enable ArrayRand to pull out a random piece of text instead of an index number, and then it's going to assign that to replacement string. Now that we have the replacement, we need to take that text and replace the placeholder with it. And so that's what's happening in this next line. We're using the function string replace, strreplace, which we used before. Again, the first parameter is what we're going to replace. The second parameter is what we're going to replace the first parameter with. And then the third parameter is the string in which we're going to perform the replacement. So string here is what was passed to this function. And then after this replacement occurs, we're going to reassign that value back to string. So as PHP runs through this loop, the first token is adverb, and the replacement array is this very kind of super or not. It will select a random item from that, say super, and then it will replace the token, which is adverb, with the replacement string, which is super, and it will do that replacement inside of string, and then assign that back to string. So the next time this loop runs, there's no more placeholder called adverb. It's been replaced by super. The next token that it's going to run on is adjective, and the replacement array will be good, bad, and ugly. We'll grab a random item from that, say good, and then we'll replace the token adjective here with good here in the string, and then reassign that back to string. So right now it says, this peach is super good. And then it still has the punctuation placeholder. The next time that for each runs, it's going to be the last time. Token will be punctuation. The replacement array will be these options here. This line will grab a random item again, let's say the exclamation mark, and then the placeholder, which is punctuation here, will be replaced with the exclamation mark here inside of the string variable, and that will be reassigned a string. Now this is the end of the replacements array, so PHP will continue on, and then it will return that string with all of those placeholders replaced.